Hello, everyone, and welcome into another episode of the Fastball Sports Network WWE podcast. I am Frank. That is Mark. Mark, how are we doing today?
Doing well, hanging in there. We got to talk about the Rumble. We got to talk about what's going on the road to WrestleMania.
I'm going to give Mark a chance to talk about both of those things. I know he wants to talk about the Royal Rumble. He wants to talk about the male Royal Rumble. I want to talk about the female Royal Rumble. So we'll get into both of those things, and we will have our way too early WrestleMania conversations. But before we start that, I just saw news that WWE is planning for live events in late 2021.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. It's good they're planning that.
Late 21 is like, I'm thinking like Survivor Series, right? Like November.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's good to have a loose plan. I don't really see that as a realistic possibility at this point, but we'll see.
You don't think you can get like 10,000, 15,000 fans in an arena?
No, it's going to be inside. They're going to be crowded. It's going to be a mess, but it's possible. It seems a little aggressive.
We got to hope that the vaccinations, because I think that plays a big part of this. You know, as more and more of the country gets vaccinated, more and more of the country will open up. But obviously, people are all in a rush to get them, as they should be. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. It's nice to see that there's a plan, though, in place to have fans in the stadium. We'll see what it brings in terms of WrestleMania. I know that they wanted to put a few fans in the stands. I haven't heard any traction on that since the initial report, though. But yeah, we actually have a ton to talk about today, believe it or not. Mark's gonna roll his eyes at me and say we don't have a ton to talk about. Well, we do have a ton to talk about. And I guess we usually go ladies first, but today we'll save the best for last. So let's start with Edge and the Royal Rumble. And for those of you that don't know, Edge won the men's Royal Rumble. He came in at number 1. He was originally supposed to come in at number 2. I guess he just cut Randy Orton in line, came in at number 1. He went from 1 to 30, survived all 29 other men, including Randy Orton, who was hurt and came back. And I am going to save my opinion on this, and I'm just going to let you talk, Mark. Go ahead.
It was the wrong choice. That was my biggest thing. I went into the night saying get one right, whether it's like don't get them both wrong. Like don't give me like Nia Jax and Edge or Nia Jax and Goldberg. So they got one right, and that's all I can really ask for. Like it's like 50% happiness is better than nothing. It's just it makes no sense to me. It's just it's like it's dumb. It's just stupid. He entered at 1. This 48-year-old guy is going through the best superstars in the world. It's like it's lame. It's not cool. I don't like it. I don't think he's good anymore. Like people are like, oh, he's still a good like in-ring worker. Like I watch him. It's boring. He looks terrible. Like in my opinion, both physically and in the ring. I don't think he's looking good at all while he's putting on these matches. I mean, kudos to him for actually showing up. Apparently, he like plans on being there every week, which is good. I mean, it's better than
he wrestled Randy for a 20, 25
and it wasn't good. It wasn't good. I know. I'm saying like he was there, which is like props to him, but it was a boring, slow match where he did not look good. When he's selling, I can't tell if he's selling or he looks like he's going to die. You know what I mean? Like he looks like
just good selling though.
I don't know. He might just be like gassed and like after like 10 minutes can't breathe, or he's really good at selling and makes it seem like he's actually going to die. Unclear at this point. He doesn't do anything for me against Drew, Roman, or Finn. It's just kind of a waste of a spot, in my opinion. You could have had him there, didn't have to win the Rumble, didn't have to be for a title. I imagine he's going to win a title, which is terrible. The rumor right now is Roman. He's going to fight Roman. He better not beat Roman. That'd be catastrophically bad. It'd be like one of the worst mistakes they've made since Goldberg beat The Fiend. It's just lame. It's just, why is he in a title match? Why did he win the Rumble? It's like, why didn't he win last year when he came back? When he sat out because he was hurt the entire year, and he just jumps right back in and wins the Rumble, and now he's the main person going into WrestleMania. It shouldn't be like this. It's bad.
All right, so I agree with some of the things you said. I do agree that it was the wrong choice. I think they should have just given, my opinions on Daniel Bryan winning, but I think I would have rather that than anything else.
It made all the sense in the world.
I don't think that he looks as bad as you're making it out to be.
He does not look good.
I'm with you in terms of it looks like he's lost a step or two, and hey, he's 48. That's not his fault. That is the booking. You know, if Vince goes to Edge and say we're gonna have you win the Royal Rumble, Edge is not gonna say no. So I don't blame him. He does look a step slow. Again, don't blame him at all. But with that
I'm
being
not
said,
blaming him. I said it was the wrong decision.
no, I know. I'm agreeing with you. With that being said, though, he has won the Royal Rumble. It happened. He's going to WrestleMania. He's probably going to be in the main event. So, which of the three do you think is the best opponent? And it was two until he showed up on NXT. I don't think he goes on to face Finn Balor, but
No.
which of the three of them, if you had the choice, say all three were on the table, which one would you
When
want?
I won, I said the match is Roman. That's the most interesting story, but like he can't win. And
Yeah, I agree with that. I
if
don't want
he's
to
gonna
see
win, make him go against Drew.
defy the odds and beat Roman Reigns and Jey Uso and Jimmy Uso standing up there with like sledgehammers and chairs and yeah, that would be bad booking. I agree.
They haven't built up.
Also, I don't think he could beat Finn Balor either. Like that would be really bad booking. Like, what are we gonna do? Put him on NXT?
It'd be a bad
know.
luck, but like I don't really care if he beats Finn Balor. Like I will lose my mind if he beats Roman Reigns. Like at this point with Finn Balor, like
If he
I don't
beats
really
Drew
care.
McIntyre, I think that's probably the best way to go about it. I think.
We're lagging.
Well, I mean, I guess it would be a ratings boost for NXT if he showed up to NXT and he defended that title for a few months. Like I mean, like that would be a big time ratings boost for them. So maybe, but I just don't see that happening. Like right now, as of right now, like
Yeah,
he'll probably
we
be on
thought
SmackDown
it'd be great for NXT with Charlotte too, and then it was a disaster.
Yeah, she was there for like a week.
She
went
didn't
there
even
for-
take the loss. She had Rhea take the loss when
Yep.
Io Shirai won the belt back. That's
Mhm.
Charlotte.
Yep. All right. So we both are in agreement that Edge shouldn't have won this Royal Rumble, and now we'll see how this progresses. Obviously, I think that he should go against Drew McIntyre. Like, I think that should be the match. It shouldn't be Roman. Roman should be.
If he's gonna win, it has to be Drew.
Yeah, I agree. I guess only time will tell what happens. But if you're making your prediction now for WrestleMania, you think it's Roman?
I think it's
You
Roman.
think it's Edge Roman?
I think it's Roman.
Yeah. I think I'm leaning your way. I didn't even think it was a possibility until I saw like all the tweets and everything, and now I know he'll be there tonight and he'll tease something. So we'll see what happens with that. Let's move on to the other main title. And so, if you think it's going to be Roman, who do you see Drew fighting at WrestleMania?
Probably like Keith Lee or Brock or I don't know.
You think they get Brock back?
Goldberg, they'll run it back. Who the hell knows? Maybe
Yeah, I think Keith.
I really have no idea.
They've already had like 2 singles matches, him and Keith Lee, right? So can we do it again at WrestleMania?
Yeah, I don't know.
Do you think maybe it'll be like a multi-man match thing?
I'd
Maybe like
imagine they have so many guys on Raw.
AJ Styles, like something like that. Like they put like 4 or 5 guys, because that would be fun. We always say WrestleMania is brutal because there's just too many singles matches. It'd be cool if like a big championship, like the WWE Championship, would be defended in a fatal 4-way match. Maybe even like a 6-man ladder match would be awesome. Especially with the talents we're talking about: Sheamus, AJ Styles, Keith Lee, Drew McIntyre will obviously be there. And hey, you could even throw Goldberg in there and have him get hurt early in the match and lay on the sideline until he has to do something. So, that could be cool. That could have a lot of potential. In the case that it's not Roman and Edge goes on to face Drew, who would you like for SmackDown to face Roman Reigns? Is this a no-brainer, Daniel Bryan, or is there somebody else waiting in the wings?
It's Daniel Bryan or face Seth Rollins.
I don't. Do you think they're ready to turn Seth face? I think they would have done it.
I don't think they know anything they're doing. I think they're just sitting there like trying to make a card and have no idea what the hell is going on. He came back. He was like half Messiah. It's a mess.
Well, wait, why do you say it was half?
He wasn't like true to the gimmick when he came. He was kind of like he was like both. He was like he came out with the music, and then like he kind of like ran out there and was like more of like the the like Seth of old, the way he like his in-ring style. It wasn't like the same way he was going. But I don't know. Maybe we'll see tonight. We'll see what's going on tonight on SmackDown.
Yeah, I wonder what the plans are for Seth Rollins moving forward. You got to think that he could be, if he stays a heel, he could possibly be an opponent for like Big E or somebody like that headed into WrestleMania. And if he does turn face, it would be interesting to see. The Mysterio family is still very much on SmackDown, so we can renew an old rivalry there if we'd like. How would you feel about that?
I'm expecting it. That's how I feel about that.
I'm really hoping that Dom Mysterio, Rey
Is
Mysterio.
Buddy Murphy gone? Did he like retire?
I don't know what happened. He won the girl, and maybe they're on their honeymoon now. I don't know.
We did all of that to build up Buddy Murphy, and I don't think he's been on TV since Seth went off TV.
Yeah, no. I think it was the week after he was on facing Corbin with the Mysterio family in his corner, and then I don't think I've seen him since. Maybe he was there the week after when like Dom fought him, but I haven't seen him since. So, yeah, it appears he's lost in the shuffle once again. All right, now let's move on to the second Royal Rumble, the better Royal Rumble of the two, Bianca Belair. I just want to say kudos to the WWE. They did this Royal Rumble. This was perfect. Okay. This is the blueprint for a Royal Rumble, right? They had Bianca come in early. She was the face. She outlasted everybody. I shouldn't say this is the blueprint. I should say this is one of the blueprints, right? They had some good returns, some nice pops. They had some funny moments with Truth and Billy and what was it? Billy and Jilly. That was very entertaining stuff mid-match to keep it light, to keep it fun. And then in the end, they had great. They had Shayna Baszler, Nia Jax, Naomi, Charlotte, Bianca, Rhea Ripley, all in the ring. Like they had like all the people that you thought, like, okay, like you could win for a second. Like, we don't think you're gonna win, but you could win for a second for sure. Like this match was perfect to a T. They did a great job. This to me is as close to perfect as it gets. This is a 10 out of 10 match. And Bianca winning was obviously huge. And honestly, I like Bianca winning, but if Rhea Ripley would have won, I don't think it would have made it that much worse in my mind. Like it would have just been like a 9 out of 10, honestly. Like I don't think it would have killed it that much for me. I'm glad they went with Bianca, but they did a really good job at the end with Rhea and Bianca both eliminating Charlotte. I just think I can't talk enough about this match. This has probably been one of my favorite Royal Rumbles in the last 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, it was really, really good. I was gonna say it's definitely the best female one, but the Becky one was really good, even though this one, like from start to finish, was just amazing. Naomi at 2, like looked amazing. It was really cool to see her back. She's already washed on Raw though, unfortunately, but it doesn't matter right now. Let's talk about the Rumble. It was really cool. It was really good. They had a couple of legends return. They had Victoria. They had Jillian Hall. They had Mickey James, who I think is now an alumni. But it was all really good stuff. I was hoping for a swerve at 30 because they announced Natalia prior, but it didn't matter ultimately. And I think they made the right decision getting Charlotte out in the final 3 and not the final 2, because I think it's good to have that, like the Roman spot where they have Roman thrown over last every year to make you cheer the other guy. But in that situation, like you didn't want to sweat it out. You didn't want like Bianca versus Charlotte, and every time like Bianca was about to fall over, like put your hands on your head, like please no. Like it was fun. It was Rhea versus Bianca, like you said. Either way, it's a good time. But we wanted Bianca to win. They made the correct decision, and it was really good. Now, I expect her to probably start a program with Sasha tonight.
Now, do you think maybe she like mulls over her decision, like teases Asuka on Raw, maybe like next week?
I mean, it's just kind of doing that can be a little repetitive to do both of them. Just kind of like
I guess it is her option, so I get that's like the big deal to me. The one thing I want to say is with Bianca, the Sasha Banks match. I mean, like I don't think you can write a better WrestleMania match in terms of like it will be good. Like I think Sasha's been putting on some of the best work since she's been back, like since she came back last year. Like this has been some of her best like in-ring work since she came to the main roster. Like obviously putting her NXT stuff aside, this is some of the best stuff because we've had like Sasha botches and like remember the Hell in a Cell match with Charlotte, she like didn't go through the table. Like
yeah.
she had some bumps in the road, but right now what she's doing on mic in ring is like her best work. And obviously we've been touting Bianca Belair for the entire Royal Rumble build up. So we don't have to talk about how good she is, but I really think that match could be really, really, really good.
I do think it has to be a triple threat match with Bailey. Like Bailey has to be in that match.
You think she gets in?
I think she has to be in that match, like 200%.
Do you think Bianca wins?
Yeah, I
You
would
think
say
it's
yes.
you think it's Bianca Belair goes over
I could see Sasha
and she
retaining. I could see Sasha retaining or Bianca. I'll say Bianca winning right now, but yeah, I do think it's a triple threat match, and right now I'll take Bianca to win.
I'm leaning that way too, but I could also definitely see Sasha retaining for
I feel like
sure.
she's
Like
gotten a
I
lot of attention lately, like mainstream attention, like all this stuff. I feel like she's really like built herself up back in like the limelight she was in prior to like the Bailey tag title thing where she was like stomping on the floor and she like left for a year. Like I feel like she's like back to like the best she's been. So I could definitely see her retaining, but right now it's Bianca.
yeah. I agree with that. All right, so we'll follow suit from what we did with the men's. So since we both think it's gonna be Sasha and Bianca, the Raw Women's Championship, is it a done deal? Is it Charlotte Flair?
It's got
Do
to
we
be
have hope of
Charlotte.
anybody else?
They had him drop the tag titles. They're gonna drag out Lacey and Charlotte until like the Elimination Chamber, the paper, whatever. Like I don't know. It's just to buy time until they start their program together, and it's just I don't need it again. I have no desire, no passion, no drive at all to watch Asuka versus Charlotte again. They have Naomi right there. It's a perfect opportunity to give Naomi that shot. I think everyone loves Naomi. She's really good. She's really fun. But now she's in a tag team with Lana, and it's just we know what happens with these girl tag teams. It's not going to turn out to be anything. They're going to waste her. They'll probably win. I'm expecting them to win the tag titles, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't mean anything.
I think with this, if you're not gonna use Naomi in a women's title picture right now, this is actually a really good spot for Naomi because she's got like the feel good face thing going on with Lana, and like some people don't actually care, but some people, some people enjoy that stuff. So you have her with Lana, who we know in-ring capability. Well, she's gotten better in the ring. She's still limited to what she can do, but Naomi isn't limited. So she's going to look shining in all this, right? She's going to look great, taking down Shayna Baszler. You feel like these tag team championships are being used for something right now because Lana's never going to win a women's championship. So at least it feels like it's elevating somebody for the first time in a while. And not just used as like a prop, like you usually say. So I actually like this spot. Again, I would rather Naomi in the title picture like you, but at least she's doing something. We haven't seen her in so long. We know how good she is. She's getting the opportunity to do something. To me, that's worth it. And I'm starting to come around to Lana a little bit, like a little bit. Like I'm starting to enjoy it every time she gets one over on Nia Jax. Like I actually think they did a really good job with that storytelling. The putting her through the table 18 times was excessive, and I'll never back down from that point. But like the getting one over on the bully and stuff like that, it's good for the kids. I don't generally this feud doesn't annoy me as much as some of the other women's tag team feuds have annoyed me, or just tag team feuds in general have annoyed me. And this throwing together of these two, I think it's a lot of fun. I think it's good for the company. But you do not look pleased with my.
It's it's stupid. The tag titles don't matter. I get
Well,
what you're
maybe
saying.
they can matter, right?
Not really.
No, okay.
I mean, like if they
All
put
right.
some time in, but like they won't. Like if they try to like reestablish them and make them important, like they mattered with Sasha and Bailey. That's when they mattered. Like they were the only two important people on the show, and they were on both
Well,
shows.
I feel like they were just props with Sasha and Bailey too, though.
Well, no, they're going show to show, and they were like exerting their dominance. They were winning by all these like shady ways, and just like it kept going further and further and
You
further.
need to put them on people where that's like their main focus. Like I'm not against what they did
They
with
don't
Sasha
have
and
any
Bailey
tag teams.
because they have Liv Morgan and Ruby Riot, and
That's
they
it.
have Liv Morgan and Ruby Riot, and they have Mandy and Dana Brooke, who at this point are a tag team. Like that's a tag team. And they're not a good tag team, but they're a tag team. So I don't know. Like maybe they can defend them a little bit better. I guess we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, I want Naomi and Lana as the new women's tag team champion. Hopefully
They're
they get their
probably going to win them, and that's
hopefully they get their
that's what
titles.
Naomi's going to be stuck with for the next 6 months.
All right, so that actually brings a good transition into the next thing that I want to talk about, and that's the best of the rest. What title not a main title, not Raw Women's Championship, SmackDown Women's Championship, WWE Championship, or WWE Universal Championship. Which one of those, not those titles, could you see like having a really good feud entering this? You've got Big E with the United States Champion. I'm sorry, you've got Bobby Lashley with the United States Championship, Big E with the Intercontinental Championship. You've got the SmackDown Tag Team Championships on Robert Roode and Dolph Ziggler. You've got the Raw Tag Team Championships on the Hurt Business. And you've got the Women's Tag Team Championships on Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. Which one of those titles do you think could put an entertaining storyline together?
So like, the only one with a shot of being it'll be good because he's amazing and entertaining is Big E. He's the only one out of all of those that have a shot of being like compelling and interesting. The thing with Lashley is I just expect him to just kill whoever he faces. It's run its course. I don't really care anymore. It's the United States Championship. He's not the real champion. Like he's just beating down everyone in the mid card and like, yeah, we're making him look amazing, but for what? Like, who cares?
So you think it's time with that? Do you think it's time to like move on from Bobby Lashley?
Yeah, but like,
would you rather the payoff be like at the next pay-per-view though, or at WrestleMania?
At this point, I don't even know if Riddle is a good payoff. Like, I don't even know.
I don't think you can do that anymore, right? He's like killed them every single week.
That's what I'm saying. The way they built up Lashley, like, it has to be like Cena. Like Cena has to come back and beat Lashley. Like I'm serious. Like that's like the way they built.
No, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
And just, I want the United States, and I'm into that. I'm into Cena versus Lashley at WrestleMania.
Yeah, that would be cool. Cena said he's not coming, but I don't believe him at all.
Yeah, you gotta assume he's going.
I'm not saying that he will be back, but I'm just saying like I don't believe that he's not gonna be. You know what I mean? Like I'm not taking his word on this.
I mean, say Bobby has an open challenge and Cena's music hits. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun. Assuming that it's not Cena though, who is it for Bobby? Is it still Riddle? Is it like?
I mean, like maybe AJ turns face. That's a good match, but like AJ's doing really good heel stuff with the big guys. I don't know if he's gonna go face now. I can't see Randy getting involved with that at all. Maybe Keith Lee. Keith Lee makes sense.
Keith Lee does make a lot of sense. And they've kept them away from each other too. So maybe that is the plan for Keith Lee.
They had like the 20-second interaction on Raw that ended like a disqualification, like all of Keith Lee's matches do.
So and then you talked about Big E. You said that could be the best one. Who do you foresee Big E challenging?
I mean, I think the big thing there is there's so many options. I mean, that's like your big multi-man match where you have Seth, you have Daniel Bryan, you have Sammy, you have all these guys where I don't know what the best situation is, but I think you get that one in the ladder match of like a 4, 5, 6 man. You have so many guys on SmackDown that would just make that like it would be the match of the night, like no questions asked. If you get Daniel Bryan, Big E, what did I just say? I said all these guys. Probably Jey Uso would find Jey Uso would get into there. It'd be great.
So yeah, no, you're right. That would be a ton of fun. You could possibly throw like a King Corbin in there just so you're miserable.
Yeah.
Rey Mysterio, Dom Mysterio.
In there. Like there's like 6 guys that should definitely get in there.
There's a bunch of guys that could be in that match and make it entertaining. And like you said, that could be match of the night. And that match has happened a lot, right? That 6-man Intercontinental Championship match, ladder match.
Yeah.
And that match is always great. Like from Zack Ryder winning to Daniel Bryan winning. Like we have had that match before and I want it every year, honestly. It's really good. The tag team championships, I don't even know who can fight for the tag. Like the women, like we have Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler. We now have this new team of Naomi and Lana. We know about the Riot Squad, and we have Mandy and Dana Brooke, right? So like you could like pick somebody out. The Raw Tag Team Championships, who, if it's not the New Day, who is it? Who?
It's the Grand Metalik and the other guy, Lucha.
That sounds miserable.
Yeah, I mean, like it's similar to the girls. Tag teams don't matter in WWE anymore. They have in
SmackDown, I mean,
they have a New Day in the Street Profits. No one else.
In SmackDown, it should just be the Profits, right? Like it should be the New Day and the Street Profits winning the tag team titles, right? At WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Cesaro and Nakamura, I don't think are a tag team anymore.
No.
Yeah. So this is where, you bring the Undisputed Era up, you have a tag team. You have a legit tag team that can challenge for things. We are about to I'm so great at these switches. All right. We're going to go into NXT. In the women's match, a lot of NXT representation. I don't know if it's because they just had to, or it's because they actually wanted to see some of these girls get in. But we had Toni Storm, Shotzi Blackheart, Rhea Ripley again. The men's, we got one guy, and it was 38-year-old Damian Priest. Now, I don't have a problem with Damian Priest being 38 years old.
Is he
Like, I feel
38?
he is 38 years old. So like, I see a lot of people on Twitter like, oh, like, that's such an issue. You know what? Stop. Like, it doesn't matter. It's not basketball. Like, he's not losing the athleticism he needs to wrestle. I mean, he will, but like, it's not that big of a deal. Damian Priest could be a good wrestler on the roster. The lack of people in the men's rumble, I think that's what frustrated me the most about the men's Royal Rumble. No Ciampa, no Gargano, no Cole, no Cross, no Balor. Like they had 5, 6, 7 guys you could put in that match. You could say, okay, like you could have them have a good show. They don't have to win. You could have them have a great showing and be like, tease like a main roster call up. They didn't do it. They put Damian Priest in, who, as far as I'm concerned, was on the main roster at that point anyway. That was like his main roster debut, and now he's on the main roster. He was there on Monday with Bad Bunny. We'll talk about Bad Bunny in a little while because I know you're really excited about that. Is this an issue? Like, was this an issue for you, or you just think they don't have spots right now?
Yeah, I think it was definitely like obviously only one guy wins, so you don't want to put in all these guys just to lose. But I think there is something to having these guys in there have a good showing and just a lot more entertaining for the fans than sending in guys that it's like you roll your eyes when their music hits. It's like why does he have a spot in this? I can't think of any good examples off the top of my head, but it's definitely like 10 guys in there that had no reason.
The Hurricane was annoying. The Hurricane, the first time,
Yeah, that bothered you. I don't really care. It's like a fun little spot.
last year, I was just like, all right, why but he did the spot like the same. It was like the same exact spot.
That's the
Like it was
shtick.
like
That's the
I
shtick.
don't know. Uh,
I had a problem with Ricochet. Like Ricochet had a match against AJ to get in, and he lost that match, and he was in anyway. I'm assuming Keith Lee like was a last minute no go, so they just threw in Ricochet. But still, like I hate continuity stuff like that, where like he had a match to get in and he lost, but he's just in there anyway. The announcers don't say anything about it, obviously, because it's like it's a mistake they have to fix. I do see it both ways because you don't want to send in these guys just to lose, but like you can send in like Adam Cole and have him get 5 eliminations and look great.
Does a loss in the Royal Rumble though really matter that much?
As
I would have to say, like,
if they have a good showing, no.
out of all like the losses you could take, right? A Royal Rumble loss is probably like not the biggest deal. Like as long as you're in for more than like a minute or two,
Yeah,
you know
no,
what I
like
mean? As long as you get your finisher in at one point in time, right? Like it doesn't really matter that much.
You get 15 minutes in, you get like a hot spot where you could throw over a few guys. Like it's all you need.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I was disappointed in that. Do you think we see any other NXT call-ups, or do you think this is kind of just is what it is until WrestleMania? I know the Monday and Friday after WrestleMania is a big day for NXT call-ups. You've got a lot of the big names in the Dusty Classic right now for both the male and female versions of the Dusty Classic. So that'll tie them up for another month or so. As you know, as NXT rolls on, they have about 1 or 2 matches every week. So you got to assume that the people in there are not coming up before till after WrestleMania, right? Like that's a pretty safe assumption at this point.
Yeah, I think they said that Rhea Ripley graduated from NXT. She's done down there, but they don't know yet if she's going to Raw or SmackDown. I mean, the obvious decision is Raw, like painfully obvious.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how that's even something we have to talk about. I think another like feeling I'm having is Charlotte takes the belt off Asuka prior. When's the next pay per view before is it like Elimination
I
Chamber?
believe we have 2. I believe we have Fastlane and Elimination Chamber. So we
All
have
right,
a February and a March.
I think Charlotte probably takes the belt off Asuka at the Chamber, and then Rhea confronts her the next night and says, because like it makes sense. Charlotte beat her last year, so now Rhea would win the title back, and it'd be like Rhea's coming out party, but Charlotte would probably win anyway because of Charlotte. So I don't know. I think Rhea to Raw definitely is the only logical situation here.
It would be really cool to have an Elimination Chamber that matters for the first time in like a really long time. Like either the men's main championship or the women's main championship or both. Like you could put the Raw Women's Championship and like maybe like Roman in the Universal Championship in that Elimination Chamber. You could have Jey Uso in that chamber with Roman, like defending him and stuff like that. Like I think like you got some good possibilities of like the singles championships that could be in there. Hopefully we don't throw the Intercontinental or like the United States, like this is like hell's favorite prison. When it first came onto the scene, the Elimination Chamber was like the best 6 guys in the company were going to go in there and fight for the best title in the company. And now it's just kind of like, we'll throw the Intercontinental Championship in there. It's like, no, we want to see the Women's Championship or the WWE or Universal Championship defended in that chamber. So hopefully we get that. And I think the Raw women are actually perfect. You put Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, like you said, bring Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair, and then there you go, boom. 4 of your 6 people are pretty big names in the company, right? 4 of your 6 women in that match are like, yeah, we could see that title going on them right now, like if things fall right. So yeah, I think that would be a really good way to do that. And if they wanted to take it off Asuka, they could.
Yeah, no, they could. And I think they probably should. I think Asuka, by no fault of her own, has also run her course as the champion. I think making Alexa Bliss the champion right now on like a random Raw would actually do huge dividends of making me care about the Raw women's scene again.
Mhm.
But that's obviously not going to happen at this point. So one more thing about NXT, Ed showed up there and like kind of just went around and like told every guy like, you're gonna be a star, kid, and like I wish I could be your age again. Like, it was stupid. Some people liked it. I didn't like it, but it would have made a lot more sense for Bianca to go to NXT and tease that. I mean, like, because she was just there, like her walking around.
Well, I think
like,
that's probably why they didn't, right? Because she was literally just there, so it would look like
yeah, but like
it was
she would go to NXT and she would like, I don't know. I guess that's true, but it actually makes some sense instead of Edge just being like NXT has to get rated R. And then he goes there, doesn't do anything, like tells Pete Dunne like, I used to be like you, how you're like a smug bad guy. That used to be me in my day, like 10 years ago. It's like, who cares? He looks like Finn. He's like, the only cool part was the ending when he was like, that right there intrigues me, and he touched Finn's title, and Finn like looked like appalled, like, what'd you just do to me? Like, I mean, like, this is no shot he does it. So it's like,
all right. I mean, like I think that would be the most entertaining match of the 3. Edge, Finn.
I mean, that's probably what I would like the most, just because I'm not invested in any NXT storyline, and that wouldn't ruin WrestleMania for me. Like, if he wins, I'd probably like whatever. Like, if he beats even Drew, like, I'm just saying, Drew is the worst of 2 evils. I don't want him to beat Drew either. The better of 2
Right.
evils, but I still like.
Right.
I don't want him. I don't know. You just had Drew beat Goldberg. You just gave him that rub. Like, why would he lose to Edge now?
Yeah, that's true. I guess. Yeah, I guess I get what you're saying.
Yeah, and then you got Roman on the other side, who they haven't built up a heel like this well since probably like Authority Seth. Like, it's a different type of heel. I'm just saying, like, the status of like how well they've done with him. Like I hate this guy. I don't. I love him, but like the way they portray him to make you just despise him, and like when he loses, it has to be a massive deal to like an up and coming young person who like could take that rub and like run with it, or like Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan would have made sense just because of storyline, but I don't know. To give that to Edge would be like catastrophically bad.
No, I agree. I don't know about catastrophically bad, but I would not enjoy that booking.
To have Roman's first loss as the tribal chief to be the Edge, that'd be,
I mean,
atrocious.
It's gonna happen to somebody eventually, right? Like he's gonna lose to somebody.
Yeah, why would it be Edge?
Okay, so just to like play devil's advocate on what you're saying, right? So the people that we mentioned that possibly could beat Roman Reigns, right? Daniel Bryan and Seth Rollins, right? Neither of them need that win either. Like, it doesn't do anything for their that doesn't do anything huge for their careers either.
I
like,
mean, he'd probably beat. I think he'd probably beat Seth.
Right.
I think Daniel Bryan would probably win if that was that match. But like, I mean, there's a story there. Daniel Bryan is on his last, like, he's going into like his last full-time run, and like they're portraying that. I said he's the only exception to the rule. Where like,
now, what if?
Go on.
I was gonna say, what if Daniel Bryan gets thrown into that match anyway?
With Edge?
Yeah.
I don't know.
And then Roman doesn't get pinned.
Yeah, that's lame.
Right? Because that would be the way. That would be the way to take it off of Roman and make him still look super bad. Like,
that's lame. Like, when he has to hold the belt until he is beaten clean and like decisively. Like he can't lose in like a nonsensical way at this point. Like he's had the belt too long and he's done too much with it.
I think that it's just there's no one right now on SmackDown where I'm like, there's no one in the in on Raw or SmackDown where I'm just like, yes, he should beat Roman Reigns right now. Like Seth Rollins, it would be fun. He doesn't need to do that doesn't need to be him. You know what I mean? Daniel Bryan, it would be a ton of fun. Doesn't need to be him. For me, it's like it's one of those NXT guys. You know what I mean? Like it's one of those
I mean,
guys.
Adam Cole would be the best logical situation, but like it's probably not happening.
Right. And they refuse to bring him up. I mean, he keeps saying all the right things. So down on NXT, he keeps saying like this is the main roster and all that stuff. So it'll be interesting to see if maybe I think that this is it. I really do think that this is it. It's going to be till WrestleMania, and then the Monday after Mania, we might, or the Friday after Mania, we might see Adam Cole, maybe possibly the entire Undisputed Era. Because now, well, Riley's gotten his shots, and Roderick Strong's gotten his shots, and they're doing tag team classic with Strong and Cole, who were never a tag team like during the whole like they've really run their course at NXT.
Yeah.
And it was a great course. Like they really did a great job for years. They were the best thing in NXT. I just want to see there's only so many times you can pair them with Pete Dunne and Finn Balor and Tommaso Ciampa, and like there's nothing new there. There's no more stories they have to tell. They've done it all. Adam Cole's been the best wrestler on NXT for the last 2 or 3 years now. I really think it's time to just, move on from them. But I mean, only time will tell if they'll actually do it. I really hope they do. But moving on.
Just one more thing on that before we move on. Like the whole thing too, like this isn't how you should look at wrestling because wrestling is ridiculous. But to me, if you have Edge go in and beat Roman Reigns, how does that make Kevin Owens look? Kevin Owens just had like 3 crazy matches against Roman. He probably should have won 2 of the 3. He got screwed, but like now you're going to portray that Edge is better than Kevin Owens, and that bothers me. But continue.
I mean, Edge is like kind of a huge name though. Like Edge is like right under John in the pecking order. You know what I mean? Like he's on Randy.
There's a big space between John.
Yeah, I mean, there's a big space between like John, Rock, Austin, and everybody else, right? Like there's a huge space between them.
I think Goldberg's definitely a much bigger name than Edge.
I see, like at this point in their career, like Goldberg wrestles. Like, here's my thing. Here's my thing with Goldberg. Goldberg's matches are spear, jackhammer, spear, jackhammer, spear.
I don't like it. It's the name.
Okay,
I don't like their match. I don't like either of their matches.
But Edge is beloved. Like Edge is loved by people our age, like mostly, maybe like a slightly bit older than us, but and around our age group. Edge is like a loved person in the WWE. Goldberg is like a big name. Like they're on the same level. Like Goldberg is obviously more of a threat, I guess, if we're gonna say like that. But Edge is like one of those guys where you could see him winning any match, right? He's the ultimate opportunist, right? And this will be the ultimate opportunity for him. He won WrestleMania. So I don't really think that there's a far gap between Edge and Goldberg, if there is a gap between Edge and Goldberg. But I do get what you're saying in terms of like a threat. But it's wrestling. It doesn't have to make sense. The Undertaker never looked like a threat for the last 10 years he was wrestling.
No, I said it's wrestling. It's ridiculous. I just hate that Kevin Owens, like, I guess KO will probably get involved with like.
Yeah, I think that nothing could be worse than Goldberg and The Fiend last year. I think that was the worst thing ever. Where like Goldberg just went over The Fiend in like seconds. So like indirectly, Edge being better than Kevin Owens, like indirectly. I don't really mind that as much, but I do get what you're saying. Like, I understand what you're saying.
And like the thing with Goldberg is like it is believable that this like man it is like the way he looks.
Barely, like very barely.
I'm just saying, you see this man run over and attack you, like it's believable that could shock someone to get a 1, 2, 3. Like I don't believe it when I look at Edge. That's like
I guess with Edge, you have to go off of the past more than you have to go off of the present.
And the other thing with Edge with these two guys is there is no scenario in my mind that I would ever believe Edge could beat Drew McIntyre or Roman Reigns.
There's no scenario in my mind where I could believe most of the roster would ever defeat Drew McIntyre and Roman Reigns, though. Right? Like if Daniel Bryan beat Roman Reigns, like that's never gonna happen. Like that would never happen in real life. Like if those two fought in real life, that would never happen. You know what I mean? Like
Daniel Bryan's like different though. He's been a plucky underdog since day one.
Yeah, but like But what I'm saying is, to your logic, like
No,
that's
I
not
know, but
happening.
like
You know what I mean?
they're
Edge is the
very
ultimate opportunist. He's won titles before. He's beaten John Cena. Like it's
50.
the same thing. Like I get what you're saying, but like the image wise, it's like the same thing.
It's just his matches now are very slow. We've seen with Randy, we've seen with all these guys. Like when he has his matches, they're very slow. They're very like, and like that doesn't work against like Roman or Drew. They're gonna like sit around and sell for him for 10 minutes because he like punched him once. Like it's gonna be dumb. It's not gonna work.
I don't know what they would plan on doing with the Roman match. They would have to add something to that. They'd have to add a stipulation or something to that to keep it moving. Um,
It was
I don't
just
know.
Roman's. It's not gonna work. Roman can't. It's gonna look dumb, and Roman's selling for like 3 minutes on the side for Edge.
Maybe he hits him with a spear, spear versus spear.
Yeah, I know. And like Edge's spear is like he runs over and he like kind of slaps him when he like in the chest as he falls down. Like it's dumb. It's the fact that Roman's gonna sit down for like
That's not fair. That's not what his spear looks
his
like.
spear is cash now. Look at his
All
spear.
right. All right. We're done talking about Edge. For the rest of the show, we're not talking about Edge anymore. Um, the best of the rest. Any good non-title feuds entering WrestleMania? Feel free to say no. We could just move on with a no,
I feel like at some point Randy and Fiend and Alexa have to end or do something, right?
That's a great segment into my next point. Where's the Fiend? Is he coming back? Is he just a myth at this point? Is he
I
dead?
told
What
you a
is
couple of times. I thought he was going to come back in the Rumble and take care of Randy. That made the most sense. But Randy like was in the Rumble, had no ailments on his face from the burnings from the week prior, got himself like fake hurt, and he came back in at 30 and got thrown over by Edge. I guess that was kind of the end to their story. And then like it happened on Raw again. I guess they're finally done with each other, maybe until they fight next week.
Even though Edge still didn't win that match clean because Alexa Bliss was drooling blood. I don't know.
From her mouth. Yeah.
Oh, Alexa Bliss, another person that could be in that women's elimination chamber.
Yeah.
There you go. 5. WWE. I'm booking you the perfect women's elimination chamber right now. Just listen.
I don't know. It's all just. Besides that, non-title match feuds. I mean, like I think Seth Rollins and Daniel Bryan can be really interesting if they're not involved with the title. I think Seth threw over DB, so like that could plant some seeds. Nothing is good on Raw, so no on Raw. Trying to think, maybe.
You're not excited for the Cedric Alexander Shelton Benjamin blowover?
No, that'll be bad. Yeah, Raw is just overall pretty underwhelming. I mean, like, I don't care about Bad Bunny, but some people do. So, like, it's probably gonna be Bad Bunny and Damian Priest versus Miz and Morrison at Mania. That's sure, whatever. Like it doesn't matter.
They're putting Priest in that spotlight. It's important for him. I get what they're doing. You're right. I don't care, but it doesn't bother me.
He's like a really big deal apparently, so good for them. Like him jumping onto Miz and Morrison at the Rumble got the most views out of any video. Like out of Bianca winning, out of Edge winning,
right.
Him jumping on him got the most views. So like,
and so putting him with the veteran like Miz and Morrison and pairing him with a newcomer like Priest, like that seems like a really good fit. Actually, like that's a really good job by them.
Miz still has the briefcase for some reason. Sure.
Do you think he uses it?
I don't know. I have no idea. Like genuinely no idea.
I really actually have no clue. Do you think like
maybe they let Edge win and then he cashes it on Edge? I don't know.
I would be fine with Edge beating McIntyre and then Miz immediately coming and cashing in on
that
Edge.
Wouldn't make sense then though. The whole thing would be like Edge's like heroic comeback. That would be really that just wouldn't make sense.
Yeah, I don't know if they would book it like that either.
It wouldn't make sense if he beat Drew and I don't know. He shouldn't have him anymore. It should be gone.
I actually am wondering because like the time's not running out. We still have, I think Money in the Bank is June. So we still have 5 months or 4 months until Money in the Bank rolls around again. But we are getting into that time where like the contract is only supposed to be void for a year, I mean, I don't know when the perfect time is. You have these two colossal WWE champions right now. So like I don't know when the perfect time is for Miz, but he's gonna have to do it eventually, win or lose.
It was good to get it off of Drew their last like 4 times, and they got it off Drew for a minute and he took it right back. So like you can't have both of them. I mean, it looks really good for Survivor Series season, but you can't have them both like but insane.
You know, it'd be good if you really want Miz to cash in. Put Drew in the eliminate, or put the champion you want in the elimination chamber, and then have him come in after the elimination chamber. You know.
Yeah, no, I think they're pretty locked into Drew though. I think it's just kind of us that is ready for a change.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm not even ready for a change. I just need a way for this to all make sense, and it doesn't. I know that's one of the things you like
It'd
to
be
say.
really bad if Miz cashed in and lost again.
Yeah, I agree.
Like,
I want to see him win too, like in a strange way. Like I don't, but I do. I said he's not the perfect champion for WrestleMania. He shouldn't go into WrestleMania as champion, but I don't necessarily mind if he leaves WrestleMania as champion.
I do, but it's fine. It's just like the whole thing where like it's just been a mess. The whole entire thing. Giving it to Otis and then having Miz win it off of him, having Miz cash in and lose, and like at that point you should just washed your hands of the story and said, "All right, no Money in the Bank this year. We'll do it next year. We'll figure it out better. We won't make it an absolute shit show." And they give it back to him. It's just like, what are we doing?
Otis should still have the Money in the Bank.
Otis should have never won the Money in the Bank, but if you were to go with him, you should have stuck to your gut and not like wimped out.
I don't know how they like just go back on that.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's like the worst look of all.
You're gonna do this, right? You were gonna do this, so just go in. Like if it's bad, it's bad. You have pay-per-views every month. Like you have pay-per-views every month. I don't know. All right, so we spoke about Bad Bunny already, so we don't have to go over that. So for right now, we have no Brock, no John, no big splash like Punk. Is there any like big name you see coming back, or is like Edge just the big name, or maybe like Goldberg gets a match? I don't know. What do you foresee in terms of, because listen, WrestleMania is a part-timer show, right? It's always about the part-timers. Doesn't look like that's gonna be the case. No Undertaker, we think. John already said no. Like we said, we're taking that with a grain of salt. Brock is not under contract with the WWE.
Brock's probably the best bet.
And where?
It would be Drew if he came back.
Okay.
But I mean, I think Booker T could come back. He looked like really good. He could do the Bad Bunny thing.
But there's no like big splash, right? Like there's no like of the names that I mentioned. Like obviously those guys would be huge.
No,
Is there
I think
anybody else?
they would have came back at the Rumble if there was something big coming.
We talk about The Rock and Roman Reigns. I would love to see that. I don't know if that is on the table for this year. I think that's more of a Hollywood WrestleMania.
Yeah, next year in Hollywood seems like the match.
That seems like a great way. If Rock can somehow clear his calendar for a build with Roman Reigns, that would be amazing. And if Roman, I'm all game with Roman keeping the title until then, like a whole year and a half run. I don't know about you, but
yeah, no, I'm down. That's why
I'd even be fine with him keeping it before the Edge game. So, but like besides for the names that I mentioned that we really don't know, like, is there anybody else?
We got to keep an eye on Becky and we got to keep an eye on Ronda. I think Ronda could still come back, but like both of them are unlikely.
Becky, I've read that when Becky comes back, she's coming back for real. Like, I guess that this whole COVID situation is helping her out right now with having a kid, because it's just like, okay, like you have the child, you stay with the child for a few months, you get a babysitter for Monday, and then she's with her for the rest, she's with the child for the rest of the week. So it's not like it was where you go on the road and you'd leave a month
and I'm
baby.
sure when live events come back, she can just be like, I'm not doing live events, and it's like, all right, like
yeah, for at least until the kid gets a little bit older. But yeah, no, this is actually one of the rare cases where COVID is actually helping somebody out right now, because we can see Becky Lynch like a lot earlier. It is more plausible that, she can leave the baby with somebody else for a few hours, do the show, and then go right back home. So that's kind of cool. Anything that happened on Raw that you want to talk about? Like anything? I think we've pretty much gone over every
you pretty much know my stance on Raw.
Storyline.
Yeah, you pretty much know my stance on Raw.
So. Say that one more time.
I said you pretty much know my stance on Raw. I mean, like they finally made Sheamus turn. I don't really care at all. Like that's it.
And then what do you expect from SmackDown tonight?
I think it'll be really good. There's going to be a lot of fallout. Bianca will be there. Roman's going to be there. Edge will be there. It's going to be really good. Seth is going to be back.
DB, Seth, Big E, you're right. SmackDown is just a great show. All right, so then last question for you before we kind of wrap things up. Royal Rumble, we've been jumping back and forth between what happened at the Royal Rumble to what we think is going to happen at WrestleMania and kind of everything in between. Royal Rumble out of 10, what do you give it?
Like a 7.
I was actually thinking the exact same thing. 7. Bianca was great. Edge was kind of meh. The Roman Kevin Owens match was incredible until the last 2 minutes, and they obviously screwed up a lot,
That really
which
sucked.
sucked, but it was still really good. Kevin Owens just is so good. Roman's so good. Like it was really good match. It would have been like a 5-star in my book if it wasn't for that terrible ending.
I told you, like, this is a really great match, but they put it in between the 2 Rumbles, and you only want to see the Rumble. Like, you're like, come on, let's go.
But they still made you care towards the end. Like,
it was still really good until the botch, but they couldn't undo Roman.
Yeah, and Sasha was fine. Like Sasha Carmella was fine. It was the perfect time for that match. Carmella looked good again in the loss, so that was good.
I didn't hate Drew and Goldberg. Drew and Goldberg was fine.
It was fine. It was 5 minutes. We didn't want more than that. Goldberg looked why I don't know if he was selling or if he was just, but Goldberg looked pretty terrible.
He was selling
at the end.
he was definitely selling for Drew.
So? All right. That's good. That's good that he would be willing to do that.
It was like 3 minutes. He was definitely selling.
And then the tag team, the women's tag team match just went on before. Good storytelling, I guess, if you're into the whole Ric Flair, Lacey Evans. Thank you. What'd you think? It was good. Did they do a good? They had to take those titles. They had to take those titles off of Charlotte and Asuka. Did they do a good job with it?
I didn't watch the match, but like, yeah, they had to get them off of Charlotte, so it's fine.
All right. Well, then there you go. That's gonna do it for us. Unless there's anything else you want to mention.
No, I'm excited. I'm excited about SmackDown. I'm dreading Monday, like always. So that's it.
Must be Monday. Mark's got insomnia. Must be Monday. Yeah, that's pretty much going to do it for us here. If you have any WrestleMania matches that you feel like we might have missed, feel free to let us know down in the comments below. Like, maybe sub, if you're feeling it. It's all.
That was really good. Must be Monday. That was really good.
Well, there you go. That's the slogan.
I know.
So, but anyway, thank you guys for watching. We appreciate it, and hope you have a great day.